it's not just like I actually have to think of the different questions still.
Yeah.
Whatever. We'll just get rolling with it. All right, hit him with the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 3 of the Brick by Brick podcast. This is a podcast where we feature a different member of the Greenwall Optics infamous fan base with every episode. We get to know them. We use this as a place for the fans to get to know one another. And if anyone within OpTic is listening, then they can get to know their fans. And if we ever can get past COVID and go back to events, we'll hopefully know a little bit more about one another and kind of add to that family feeling that OpTic has always delivered, as long as I've been watching them anyways. In this week's episode, we have Jack joining us. I reached out to him through Twitter. He was able to reach back. We were able to schedule the time down. Jack, you want to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yo, so what's up, guys? My name is Jack Incizive, and I'm from Ireland, and I'm 15 years old. And I am a proud member of the Green Wall.
All right. So, as he said, 15 years old, from Ireland, which definitely caught me off guard. I just wasn't expecting to get someone, a fan from anywhere outside of America on these first few episodes. I was definitely but thinking that it would have to be a little bit bigger before I was able to pull anyone outside of America. So definitely cool. Our first European, Irish, across the pond guest, if you will. And you've already listened to one episode before you joined me on this, so you're familiar with the introduction question. What does OpTic and the Green Wall mean to you as a fan, as a member of the Green Wall? What does it all mean to you?
Well, so basically, OpTic to me is just like, it's kind of like a brotherhood almost, you know? Like, I could go to any member of the Green Wall and, like, talk to them as, like, I've known them for years. Like, it's just so connected like that. Like, everyone just feels connected. And I feel like that's, like, a huge thanks to Hex for doing that. Because he made that way.
Yeah, definitely agree. I've been saying it for years. I think Hex is hands down the best CEO, at least within the esports space. And it's 100%. A little bit more competitive now because I think, Nade Shot does a really good job with that with 100 Thieves. FaZe has a pretty tight-knit group of fans, and the kind of connection between the creators and the fan base is pretty solid there. But I still think that not only did Hex kind of do it first, but I still think that he's doing it right to this day. Like, he hasn't strayed away from it, really. In fact, if anything, I feel like over the last couple of years, he's, like, brought it tighter.
Mm-hmm. Because I feel like if I ever met Hex, like, I'd just be able to talk to him. Like, if like, awkwardness or anything else, like, I'd just be able to talk to him because I know him,
Yeah, you've gotten to know him through so many videos. I mean, you've seen how many vlogs has he done? How many pieces of content has he been involved in? You have
so
Eavesdrop,
much content.
Like, at least a good, like, chunk of his life. Mm-hmm. At least the amount that he's able to share, I guess. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that we don't know. But yeah, same. Like, I feel like, I've met him twice now. 3 times? Twice.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
I don't remember if I met him at Anaheim 2019 or Champs 2019. I don't know if I saw him. I don't know if I said hi.
That must have been a great experience.
Yeah. The third time, if it did happen, was just kind of like normal-ish. The first time I was super hyped, it was back in 2013. So it was way back in the day. But yeah, I was like, oh my God, like, there's Hex. Like, here I am, just like
there's
this.
The man himself.
Man, how old was I? I would have been like 16 at the time. So right around your age. Like, I want to say I was 16, maybe 17. I don't think so, either. Mm-hmm. Maybe I was 17. No, definitely 16. Yeah, I was definitely like 16 when I met him the first time. And then I didn't meet him again for like another 6 years. So second time was kind of the same thing. I was like, oh my God, like, of course you're not going to remember me. It's been 6 years. But yeah, it was super cool. How did you first, like, how long have you been watching OpTic? Tell us a little bit about your story, how you were introduced to them. You kind of messaged it to me, so I know a little bit. But tell those listening kind of how you became a fan of this organization, how you became a proud member of the Green Wall.
Okay, so it starts back in 2014. Um, I first got Xbox Live, and I met this guy called Syndicare in a search and destroy lobby.
I thought you said Syndicate for a second. I was like, hey.
No, Syndicare. He was from Arizona, but like every dude, and I mean everyone was like so into phase back then. Like especially in search and destroy, like phase was the thing.
A lot
Like
of
if
trick
you remember,
shotting.
like the New
Yeah.
York, like that was blowing up when I got Xbox Live. So obviously he introduced me to phase, and I was watching videos every single day about them. Well, he continued on to play, and then he told me, I'm like, why do you not have phase as your like clan tag anymore? And he's like, oh, I found out about OpTic. And I'm like, who's OpTic? He's like, they're 100 times better. So I looked up OpTic, and I think I found a video of Scumps, and I watched it, and I'm like, I don't really like this dude. But you see, me being the 9-year-old kid watching phase, I kind of thought like, oh, OpTic are the rivals.
Yeah.
And then like a week later, FaZe Rain put up a video like 1v1 in who was it? Pomage or something.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember who it was, but I'm
I
like,
feel
oh
like it
yeah.
would have been Pomage because they didn't really have many snipers around that year.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh yeah, OpTic's the enemy, so I'm gonna, I'm not gonna like them. So progress again to like 2018, and I'm like, I love Black Ops 4, but I kind of watched like I watched one comp game. I'm like, this is not for me. Like, I just hated it for no reason,
So like
to be honest.
so hold on real quick. So you kind of got introduced to kind of online gaming, I guess, and like content and stuff around 2014. Were you
Yeah,
playing Call of Duty at the time? I'm assuming.
yeah, Black Ops
Okay,
2.
and you played COD like the whole time, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so then Black Ops 4 was that the first taste of kind of watching competitive Call of Duty?
yeah, like it kind of was like
Okay.
I've seen CS:GO comp before,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, this is a super boring.
Yeah.
Like I
Which I feel
did
like that
not
kind of
like
makes
it.
sense that you would see that first because I feel like the CS scene is a little bit bigger
Oh yeah, CS is huge
than
over here.
COD, at
Like,
least like in
especially in
outside of
Britain,
America, really.
hmm like especially in Britain and in Germany and all that. Like the
CS is
CS:GO
huge.
esports scene is huge. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Call of Duty, I feel like really like yeah, there's like a pro scene and there has been for the last 10 years, but I feel like it
hmm
didn't really start to pick up until probably 2017 is what I would guess.
And to me, like
At least
soccer,
like across, outside of America, because America, I feel like it's always been Call of Duty. It's been like the one game that we've been pretty solid at, and I guess Halo, way back
yeah,
in the day. But yeah, I feel
yeah,
like
because like
outside of America, Call of Duty didn't really start to grow till probably 2017 ish.
mhm. Because like soccer over here is huge.
Oh
So
yeah.
like we have the players that we know, right? And we know they have a personality.
Mm-hmm.
But to me back then when I was like, I don't know, like 12, 13, I thought all these esports guys, they're just blank. Like there
Mm-hmm.
was nothing about them, like there was
Yeah.
no personality. I asked before I had Twitter because I wasn't allowed to have Twitter
Yeah.
back then. But
So anyway,
anyways,
so like 2018, you kind of get a glimpse of competitive, but you didn't really like it at first.
yeah, I think it was E United versus like I don't even know. It was advertised in game, like the message of the day.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, check out the Call of Duty World League. And so I'm like, I'll finally check it out to see what it is. And I looked at it and I'm like, this is so boring. Like this is when I was less mature than I am now.
Mm-hmm.
So then progressed to maybe 2019 Modern Warfare. Like I am insanely into Modern Warfare. Like I was playing that every single day with my friends and everything else. But then this leads on to why I got into competitive. So I have been ill with asthma my
Oof.
whole life basically, and I have other illnesses. And I used to play rugby. If you know what that is,
I
it's kind of like
do.
American
Dude,
football.
rugby,
Yeah.
by the way, blows my fucking mind
Hmm.
because, like, I've played football. I played football for 9 years, American football.
Hmm.
And, like, you got your pads and everything. Like, it blows my mind that rugby just doesn't use any pads, really.
Hmm.
Like, how
No,
the
like
hell?
you'll take some hits in that.
And, like,
Trust
I
me.
get it, like, physical contact, hitting, like, it's fun, but,
Hmm.
like, bro, you're just asking for injury, I feel like.
Hmm. Like I kind of like the way I'm built. I'm kind of like that rugby football, American football player kind of
So
build.
you, like,
So I'm
not,
like
like, short and
perfect for it.
stocky, but, like,
No,
well built.
like big shoulders and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. But anyways, because of my illnesses, I was able to play rugby when I wasn't as bad, but I fell into really bad like illness again, so I
Dang.
couldn't play rugby anymore. So because I love modern warfare so much, and I think that I started to see all these skins in the game. This is like, did they do it in Black Ops 4? Where they
Like
had
the
like,
competitive, like the OpTic skins and stuff.
yeah, like did the characters actually have skins, or was it just the
I
weapons? I can't remember.
want to say it was just the weapons because I feel like I'd remember repping an OpTic skin. I could be
Hmm.
wrong though. I kind of don't remember Black Ops 4. For some reason, I don't remember Black Ops 3. Well, Black Ops 3 I don't remember because I didn't play it very much. I had some
Yeah.
real garbage internet during Black Ops 3.
Hmm.
And Black Ops 4, I played it and like I grinded it enough to get Dark Matter, but then like Apex came out. Like Apex came out right after I got Dark Matter, and I was like, I didn't love Black Ops 4, so it was easy for me to be like, oh, here's a different game and kind of just bounce over.
Hmm.
It's
Like
like,
Black Ops 4 is like such a good game to me.
yeah. What, and it is a good game. I did like, I look back and like I do have fond memories of it, but I don't
Hmm.
remember a lot of like little details. Versus
Yeah,
like, dude,
like to
Modern Warfare
me.
2, which was like my first COD. Like I could
Hmm.
still tell you every single map. I could tell you every gun, all the names of the camos. Like I could name off probably 60% of the challenges that were in the game. Like I was a nerd. Black Ops 4, I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, I remember like the maps and the game modes, and like I remember it being fun, but like I don't remember the little nerdy details at all, let alone camos.
Like I feel like Black Ops 4 was just complete. Like from the first day they started making it, it was just made with competitive in mind.
I'd agree.
And
I don't like Control
mhm,
as a game mode, which we could talk about later.
yeah,
But as far as like the flow of the game and the way it played, like it was definitely like esports minded during development.
yeah, because like a lot like this is probably the first Call of Duty I got Master Prestige in because I was just playing it
Yeah,
so much
it was the first Call of Duty
and it
I'd
was
gotten
so
Master
fun.
Prestige in a few years.
Hmm.
I got Max Prestige for Modern Warfare 2. Uh, not Black Ops 1 so much. Then Modern Warfare
And
3,
usually,
Ghosts, Black Ops 2,
mm,
Advanced Warfare.
and
I
funnily
think
enough,
Advanced
like
Warfare was the last time I got like the max level
yeah,
until probably Black Ops 4. I maybe got max
mhm,
level in Infinite Warfare, actually. I played that game a lot with my buddy. But yeah, I remember it was
like
like the first one that I actually felt like I could grind, at least in
yeah,
a couple years.
like it was just so fun to me. Like
Yeah, the
and
movement
funnily
was
enough,
stupid smooth. I did do the movement in
yeah.
Black Ops 4. Even Cold War. I really like Cold War's movement.
Hmm.
But anyways, we digress. So we were talking about camos.
Hmm. So I seen all the CDL skins, and I'm wondering like I seen a phase skin, so I'm like straight away I'm like, oh, this there it must be about competitive. So this probably when did they release them? They must have released them in January 2020, maybe.
For Modern
So
Warfare or Black Ops 4?
Modern Warfare.
Yeah. So yeah, that would have been probably sometime early 2020.
So I'm like the the grudge against competitive Call of Duty is still in the back of my mind. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch it. It's boring to me.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously it was very hard not playing rugby. Like that was my thing.
Yeah.
Like everyone's into something like cars, whatever. Like rugby was my thing.
Yeah. Which I get that. Like I said, I did 9 years of football. I played basketball for 5 years. I ran track for 4 years. It's like I've always been around sports and stuff. And Call of Duty just kind of got thrown in there. Like I didn't, like some people right, like you kind of maybe stop playing from illnesses. I know like Scump stopped playing because of an injury. Like I kind of just, like I didn't have to stop playing for any reason. I just played Call of Duty and then kind of got into competitive with that. And then like once I stopped playing sports, like senior year, or I stopped playing football senior year. And then like right afterwards, it was like, oh, Call of Duty's still here. But yeah, I get it. So anyway, yeah, rugby, that was your big thing.
Call of Duty has always like been there, you know? Like
you were
it
just
always
playing
has.
pubs for this whole time?
And so when I turned 15, I'm like, oh no, my bad. So the way I found out about competitive COD all over again was when Warzone came out. And I went on Twitch one day. I just turned on whoever had the biggest stream. And funnily enough, it was Scump.
So Scumpy
and I'm
at
like,
the time, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, I recognize this guy. So I'm like, let me type in Scump into YouTube. And I see the picture that he has with like the, what do you call it? Like, he might have only been 15. You know, like he has the big fur coat on and stuff. His YouTube profile picture.
Is it his current? It's not the current one, is it?
Let me check.
As soon as you said fur coat, I thought of the Karma one where they made him look like Jon Snow.
Oh, no, he still has it on. He has a Burger King hat on.
Yeah, the Burger King one.
And the fur coat, yeah.
King Scumpy, that's right.
So I'm like, oh, it's this guy that I couldn't stand. I'm like, oh no. So I just decided to watch it because it was Warzone. It's kind of like not competitive. So I decided to watch it.
Right? There's,
and I'm like, this guy is insane. Like he is insanely good.
Yeah.
And like I was always like a rush type person with an SMG, like get into people's faces and stuff. And I'm like,
dude, it's weird. Like I've heard so many stories of like basically that. Like people really gravitate towards Scum because one, he's one of the few people that's doing content. And two, he has that really fast paced play style, like just in your face SMG all the time. And like it fascinates me because I'm the opposite. I'm a slower, like I'm like a main AR at heart, but over the time of playing and stuff, like I definitely like the flex roll the best, and I think that's where I play the best.
Yeah.
But like I started out as a main AR, like a really slow hold down lanes, like an Octane from Black Ops 4. That was me. Just stare down hallways and beam people.
Yeah, so I basically continued to watch him. Like, he's insane. Like, I'm starting to gain more respect for this guy, you know? And then I turned 15 in May, and then I don't know. After I watched Scump, I started to watch a lot more of, like, hacks. The Huntsmen YouTube channel, I was watching it all. Like, I just became, like, super fan. Basically over like just a few weeks, and then I matured a lot. You know, I was like the kid in Search and Destroy, like talking trash. Yeah, but I'm like, there ain't no need for that.
Yeah,
no
that
more.
Kind of goes away.
Like these dudes, like the professionalism was on another level. You know. Yeah. And they can still be this good without talking trash.
That's so weird to think about. Like, just like the generation thing, right? Because, like, it's like my first COD was Modern Warfare 2, 2010. Like, I would say, like, I've always been decent at COD and then, like, eventually got good. But, like, I don't remember ever being trash at the game. But, like, once I did get good, like, I would talk mad shit. Like, 1v1 me, come at me. Like, you let me know when to turn it on and I will shut your team down.
Yep.
Right? And like, yeah, that's gone away, but it does still exist in the back of my head.
Like you can imagine little 9-year-old in Search and Destroy with the FaZe clan tag on and a DSR. Like imagine the amount of trash talking I'm doing.
It's weird because I feel like okay, you know, at age 15 or whatever, like you mature and you go, you know what, there's no need for all this trash talk. But it's like, oh dude, I feel like one generation earlier, right? Like my generation, like oh, that trash talk never went away. Yeah. I just suppressed it, but like it's still there. I just don't tap into it. And like now, you know, I'm almost 25 and I'm like, there is no reason for it. But like, man, I want to talk some shit sometimes.
Like the good banter trash talk is just awesome. But like this, like getting really personal and stuff, like there ain't no need for that.
But it's weird. I think that the younger generation now is for the most part like a little bit more kind. Like if you were born in 2000 to 2005, somewhere in there, like I feel like they're just a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
And it shows because, like, it's like, yeah, banter's cool, but, like, getting personal is not. I feel like if you're born 10 years earlier, you're like, it can get personal. Just don't take it seriously.
Like,
getting
I
personal is
don't
still on the
regret.
table. It's weird.
Yeah, like I don't regret like the trash talking memories I had from like Black Ops 2 and stuff like that.
Well, no,
That's
yeah,
like
it's all fun.
yeah.
At the end of the day, it's all fun in games, right?
So we'll get back to it then. So basically, I've been consuming so much Huntsman content, and then I finally decided to watch a game because I like know these guys.
Yeah,
now.
like at this point, you're invested in like the people and the personalities, and it's like, all right, I'll give competitive a shot again.
And at this point, I had Twitter too, so you know I'm following Formal, RCDs, I'm following all the dudes on the Huntsman. And just like then I start to discover Simp and everyone.
Bro,
you
Simp
know,
is nasty.
yeah, like I look up to Simp a lot.
Yo,
like especially what he done at 18,
Simp
and when he was my age, he's just insane.
I can't believe the skill ceiling on those guys, and Envoy too. Honestly, Envoy's disgusting.
Yeah, like Envoy to me, he is just like every time I'm watching him, he is just so technically minded.
Yes.
Like there's no. I don't look at another player anyway like that.
No,
like,
Envoy's different, and I think the thing that's interesting.
It's like he
Envoy
can
is
just
like
see
kind
the
of
map.
A little weird. Like he does some weird, goofy stuff sometimes, but it works. Like he knows the game so well that he knows how to do the goofy stuff, and it still works.
Like if he's in the middle of raid, it's just like it just taps into his brain. Like he can just see like a bird's eye view of raid, and he knows what to do like instantly.
Yeah,
like he's just such a technical player. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which that's what I like. I like games that are a little bit slower and a little bit more strategical, or strategic, more tactical, I guess. I prefer like that kind of play style. One of the things I don't like about like 5v5 just got a little too chaotic. So I think like bring it back down to 4v4, it's a little bit slower, and you get to actually see like that mind work, right? You get to actually see him making those decisions. 5v5, it's like you had that extra player, those extra 2 players on the map, and I feel like it takes away a little bit of that. Like it's not like he was less technical in 5v5. You just didn't get to see it as often.
Because I'm like a natural SMG slayer, basically. So I'm like,
so you probably play a really
get
similar.
up in your face, kind of like. So I preferred 5v5 in that sense.
Yeah, because it is faster for you. It is constant action.
Like I love the chaos.
Yeah,
like that. So
see, I like it for pubs. Like except for ground war. Ground war is too big. But I like that chaos for pubs. I don't like it for comp.
No, not all. I mean, just think about 6v6 comp like that.
So I also come from like when I was really into comp, that was Black Ops 2, Ghost, and Advanced Warfare. And I think overall the game played slower back then. Like you didn't have as many people that were cracked. Like now, like dude, the talent is so insane now.
Yeah.
Like I think that I could have played at the professional level when Big Timer and Rambo were playing at the professional level. The skill ceiling was a little bit lower, and I think I could have played at that. No chance I could play pro now. Myself back then, even like in my prime, I couldn't compete with today's pros because the skill ceiling is so much higher.
And like especially with like PC now and like FPS and
everyone's on PC, everyone's playing on like 100 FOV, 200 FPS. Like
take Sim for example, he's just cracked. He is just like over cracked.
Selling like a lot of these young guns, a lot of these guys are like 18, 19. Like bro, they are 3 times better than me at my peak. I can't play at that speed 24/7. You gotta slow the game down a little bit. I could compete back in the day. Yeah.
Like the fat, you see, that's like completely opposite for me. Like maybe it's because I'm like younger, but
I think it's
like
a mixture of that and also the game is just faster now. I mean, it's Call of Duty. It's been out for 10 years. Like it's just slowly gotten faster and faster to the point of where it's at now, where it's like you almost kind of have to be cracked.
Like if I wasn't so stubborn and like started to watch comp in like Black Ops 3 or IW, like I'd say I would have played those 2 games so much more because we're like quite fast paced, like with the jetpacks and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, I decided to watch my first competitive Call of Duty match in like May 2020 because I was missing my sport and stuff. So I'm like, let me give it a go. I know who Huntsmen are now, so I like watched a match and I just completely fell in love with it after that.
You remember what match it was?
No, sadly I don't. That's kind of annoying that I don't.
And it was like one of those things like you wish you could.
Like, and then Twitter, the other side, I'm like, these guys are not just blank slates, Like they're actually like huge personalities. Like
Yeah, which
there's
kind of like what
no other
like where you were
esport.
going with the soccer thing earlier, like
Mhm.
right, like
Like there's
you
no
know
other.
who these athletes are, and they are personalities.
Like there's no other esport with personalities like COD does
That's
at
true.
all.
That's true. I think Gears of War is a smaller community, but I think they do have some big personalities in there. Like they're toxic, but like it kind of fits the culture of Gears of War. Like
Yeah.
that toxicity, like they're able to get away with it. Halo, you have some big names, but nothing like Call of Duty. CS:GO, same thing. Like I think if OpTic never enters CS:GO, then the personality like development isn't as good.
Because
Yeah.
like going back to trash talking again, like you're not going to see trash talking like you do in COD. You know, you're not
No.
going to see it in Overwatch. You're not going to see it in
The only
CS:GO.
game
Like,
I think that has trash talk, like I think peak trash talk, is Gears of War.
yeah,
Those guys
100%.
are
Like,
insane.
I've
Like
seen
they'll literally fight each other.
countless montages of trash talking. Yeah, like some ice hockey stuff. You know, like
Yeah.
pull off the helmet and fight each other.
Yeah. They're like, okay, let's put the controllers down and let's actually fight, and then let's get back in the game. Yeah, Gears of War really is like the hockey of esports, and I love it. And what's cool is like they're
Yeah.
all okay with that. Like there's no one in the community saying, "Hey, we need to stop this." It's like no, that's just part of the Gears of War culture.
Yeah, it just adds to the experience of it.
I want to go to a Gears event. That'd be badass. I've only been to Call of Duty events.
Yeah. Well, sadly, I've never been to an event at all.
It's
Which
not
sucks.
shocking considering the amount of Call of Duty events outside of America. Like they barely exist, right? Like you have the
Like,
Gfinity events back in the day, and
Like if I knew about competitive sooner,
what was the other one that they used to do?
MLG London.
MLG London, Gfinity. I feel like I'm missing one. I might
Isn't
just
there
be
one in
thinking
like
of
Germany as
Gfinity.
well? Or because I know like all of Modern Warfare 3 was
EGL?
played in
No,
Europe.
maybe it's EGL. I don't know. But like, there's not a lot of events, and of them, like they're all in London. I feel like.
Yeah, like because if I knew about competitive sooner, I could have went to the London Royal Ravens home series in what was it, mid-January? I'd like to say. Like that's when like Huntsmen were like smoking like
Yeah, and so that's kind of
gallons and
before
stuff,
other
you know.
people caught on. Which
Like phase back then, they are not what they are now. You know,
to be fair, OpTic, throughout the course of their competitive teams, they've always been one of the fastest learning teams. Like, if you go back and you watch the last 10 years of competitive Call of Duty, OpTic's the best team in the game for the first 3 months. And then it's like everybody catches up to them. And like mid-season, OpTic has always kind of struggled and started to fall behind. And then come late game, you know, when it's time for champs or whatever, like half the time OpTic is still in the middle. The other half, like they still prove themselves to be a top 2, top 3 team. But coming out the gates, like those first few months, those first couple events, OpTic has always been pretty dominant. And I don't know why.
yeah, like that's why Envoy is such a perfect player in that roster because he's just like such a pioneer. Like what was it, like the kickoff classic? I think he was the only one running engineer.
Yeah.
That whole
Yeah,
thing.
no, he started the engineer thing. And now it's like every team has at least one engineer player.
Yeah, like he's basically like, I don't know, like the trendsetter. Like he discovers, he experiments. Like
he experiments. That's a good way of putting it. I feel like a lot of players are, and I think most of it is older players don't experiment as much. I'd say as far as the veterans go, Clayster is probably the best with that.
Yeah.
Out of all the veteran players, Clayster I feel like experiments a ton. And
Yeah, I feel like,
but Aches isn't really.
I feel like
think Aches is
Clayster
about
like
done.
really likes to keep up with like the times basically.
Yeah, but
Like,
he also.
I mean, you look at what he done a couple of weeks ago. Like, what is he, 28? I mean, he was putting up stats.
Yeah, but he
like an
also has
18-year-old.
always pushed for, like, whenever it comes to GAs and like very early game when they're kind of figuring out the different metas and like the bans and stuff. Clayster's always erred towards the side of keeping the game as out of the box as possible. Like, don't ban anything. Like, obviously you want to ban C4 and stuff, but like he's always pushed for less
He's
regulation.
like, if it's that broken, like the game developers fix it. It was the same with snaking. He's just like, keep abusing it and they'll eventually change it. Watch. And I mean, look at today, they just changed it, you know?
So I think that's why, like, he wants to play the game just out of the box. And that also helps him stay with the times and keep up with these younger guns that are trying all this different stuff. Celium's another one I would say experiments a lot. Celium's
Yeah.
Dude,
Celium,
Celium
like,
and Shotzi's movement, I feel like those two guys have the best movement in the league.
see, like, Celium, I don't really, like, fully notice Celium is because he's very, like, he's a very quiet person, like,
Yeah,
keeps to
he
himself,
doesn't
you
do
know?
much for building his own personal brand.
Like, he's just, he'll, like, retweet the official Atlanta Phase
Yeah.
tweet and then, like, get off Twitter completely.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a big thing because of him, like, snaking as well. Like, he just gets way too much hate that's not needed,
Yeah, and he might just be like a quiet person, right? Like, and of all the orgs in the league, Hex is the only owner that like it's pretty mandatory that you participate in content. Like, I'd say the Rocker do a good job with that as well, but I think a big part of that is one, they have Midnight, and two, they have Gary Vaynerchuk. So like they have Gary V as a partial owner of the Rocker, and then you have Midnight, who spent over 10 years with OpTic. So it's like, of course, they're going to be a very content-driven organization. The LA Thieves, of course, they're going to be a content-driven organization. They've got Nadeshot, who's built 100 Thieves as a brand and also spent a long time under Hex.
I mean, Nadeshot is this completely celebrity personality,
Yeah, they have Drake as an investor, like, but most of the other orgs, like Envy, Hastro, he's never been a big content pusher. He's always been a competitive first.
Hastro's always,
like
a competitor first, always.
FaZe, it's weird. You would think FaZe would have content all over the place, but I feel like as far as the league goes, they don't focus on it as much.
Yeah, but like Call of Duty, FaZe, like Call of Duty.
Yeah, like outside of competitive, FaZe has content. Like they're the way, like they're the biggest organization by a landslide. But like when it comes to the league, it's like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, like outside of competitive, FaZe is doing nothing with COD.
Yeah.
At all. Like it's all Fortnite or like any other games like CSGO.
It's a lot of lifestyle stuff, like vlogs. Like they're really good at branding and content. Somehow when it comes to the league, they don't. I feel like they don't do much. But anyways, we digress.
Because like the New York FaZe house, like that was like the best.
Like that was kind of peak, not peak because they've obviously continued to grow, but it was. It was good. And I started out almost the opposite of you. Like I started out as watching OpTic back in 2010, like the beginning of 2010. And like I remember seeing FaZe come onto the scene in like the trick shotting. And I'm a sniper quick scoper at heart. Like I started out watching montages and stuff and like learning how to snipe. And like when FaZe came onto the scene and started trick shotting, I couldn't stand it because I would see so many people start setting up for trick shots and just like the whole team's using one-man army. They just throw 500 stuns at the guy and like eventually they hit the trick shot. But I'm like, dude, the guy's standing still stunned. Of course you're going to hit the shot eventually.
I mean, like even in Black Ops 2, that's when like FaZe were just like just skyrocketing.
Cams was like every week. Like I hated it. And like now, and this could be also maturing, right? Because this is when I was like 14, 15, freshman year until now. It's like I still don't like trick shotting at all. Unless it's like really smooth. Like if I see you get a triple feed and then you jump off the building and you do a 720 and like you happen to hit that fourth shot, like that's dope. But if you're just throwing stuns at the guy and like I could tell you jumped off this building 6 tries before you finally hit him, I don't care for it.
Yeah, like I like kind of came out of that. Like I don't really like trick shotting no more. I don't really
like outside of that, what FaZe has done as an org, and a lot of the FaZe members, like I do really like them on that side of things. I just don't like the trick shotting thing. But like Nick Mercs, dope dude. Temper. Big fan of Temper. Like they still kind of have that fitness section with Senpai and like Jasper. Like they do a really good job, and I'm a fan of what they've done. I just don't like their trick shotting.
Like with FaZe, like especially with Nick Marks, like it's like he's too big to the point where there's no like connection to him basically.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's like if you
like
go
he
watch
wouldn't be
his
like
stream,
formal or stump, like reading out like subscriptions and donations. Like if you got a donation, and just be there.
That's like the downside of getting that big. Like I was in Classify's stream the other day, and like granted, I don't really watch streams anymore. I don't spend too much time watching content these days. Like I have work, and then I make content, and it's like outside of that, I just don't have as much time to watch, which sucks. But like I just happened to open up Classify stream, and like he was super active. Like he was talking to everybody in the chat, and it's like he had a few hundred viewers, but it was still cool that like he was acknowledging everybody. He hasn't gotten to that level
streams that I prefer.
50,000 viewers.
Focused streams.
What was that?
I definitely prefer like the more smaller community focused streams. Because you connect the streamer.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it makes a difference. And like it's cool, you know, if you've been watching Nick Merckx for like 10 years and you've been a fan this whole time, like obviously it's cool to see him get that big, but it does suck to also lose that kind of connection.
Like, I mean, if you've been in Nick Merckx streams for like, I don't know, like 5 years when he was like so small.
I'd say quote unquote nobody.
Like if you were subscribed to him since, I don't know, like 2015 when he was
like
nobody.
if you've been resubbing for 5 years, like he'll still notice.
Yeah, like he'll know who you are.
Yeah.
Basically. But anyways, I watched my first match and I completely fell in love with competitive and like the Huntsmen. Because like I've been watching these guys, they play comp, and I'm like, I finally found the respect for these guys because of how good they are.
Mm-hmm.
And especially like Scump is all like just seeing how insane they play.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and then also like taking into perspective how much they do outside of just playing competitive, right? Like streaming, entertaining, content days, like uploading consistently. If Scump only play, it's like what they always say, right? Like whenever people start talking about Scump retiring, it's like Scump is the only pro that puts in this much effort. It's unmatched. Like nobody comes close to the amount of stuff that he's doing. So it's like if Scump did go full lockdown and stop making all other content and only play competitive Call of Duty, he would still be a top 3 player.
You have to find, like, if you don't respect Scump, like, it's just weird, you know, like, because he's uploading to YouTube, he's streaming, he's a professional player, he's got brand deals. He only got a brand deal there with Oakley a few weeks ago.
Dude, first esport athlete to be sponsored by Oakley.
Like, there is no other pro.
And I mean, the benefit of that too is like, and this is like the main reason that Hex has always pushed his people to build their own personal brand is like, what happens if you break your hand and you can't play competitive COD anymore? Like, do you just go get a normal job? Like, it's very hard to go from getting paid to play a game that you love to trying to go be like a normal employee somewhere.
Yeah, because like, I mean, Hex has that like dad mentality towards his
especially towards Scump. Like, dude, he picked Scump up like when Scump was 17, I think, 16. Like, he has been that kind of dad figure for Scump this whole time.
Yeah.
So you get into competitive Call of Duty, you start watching a bunch of the matches, but at this time it's the Huntsmen. So at what point, like, did you, during the dark times, quote unquote, right, from World War II OpTic, and then when Hex left, like, you weren't really watching OpTic anyways?
No, like at that time, so like I didn't really watch FaZe anymore, and I wasn't into FaZe anymore. So I'm like, all like OpTic or like smaller or whatever, like. In my head, because the CSGO gave me like the bad experience with esports, I'm like, OpTic are probably just like Cloud9 and Evil Geniuses. Like, they're just blank slate esports organizations. Like, and I just feel like more organizations need to follow suit what like OpTic is doing, you know?
Yeah, I think that's something orgs have a hard time doing. Like I want to say that they don't see the benefit of it. Like, oh, well, why would we spend money and time on that? But like, there's no way they don't see that, because you see these brands like FaZe and OpTic that are doing it, and there obviously is a huge upside to that. So like, I don't think it's that. I think it's, I don't know, it's got to be something almost leadership wise, or the people themselves, or it could be culture wise, right? Like, no other esport has personalities like this. Like, when you go and watch gaming videos on YouTube, you see a lot of Fortnite gaming videos, you see a lot of Call of Duty videos, but like, in comparison, how many people are making CS videos? Like, obviously there's people out there doing it, but it's on a much smaller scale than Call of Duty.
I know one other guy that is like the Scump of another esport, and that's Pengu in Rainbow Six.
Yeah, I've heard of the name.
He actually just retired.
But like,
couple weeks ago.
There's like, there's League of Legends content, but like,
like, that's how I'm saying. Like, you think of,
like, if you think of gaming videos on the internet, you think Call of Duty, Fortnite, Valorant is on the right track, I think.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Valorant content going out. It's just so new that it's hard to say.
Like, I feel like a lot of esports organizations have like the same mentality as like Hastro.
Yeah.
You know, like, competing comes first.
And
I mean, you think of the upsides of that. Yeah.
But there is a huge upside, at least when it comes to branding, and like also like partnerships, right? Like, if you have a big brand and you can get a bunch of eyes on you, you can maybe pull better sponsors and stuff. Like,
yeah, because like Team Liquid, they have like the same mentality as Hastro. Like, I checked out their YouTube.
How the hell
did
Team Liquid get a partnership with like Marvel though for the jerseys and stuff?
I don't even know. Like,
I'm like, dude, who the hell is this Team Liquid that's getting these partnerships? Like, I've never heard of them.
See, that's the thing. Like, they are so much into competing. I think they've won over $35 million
Damn.
in prize earnings.
Like
I
as
seen
an
it the other
org?
day or something. Yeah.
Damn.
It's League of Legends. Like over
That's
here,
true.
like the western side of the world, like we don't really know about League of Legends,
We
but
don't really
like
know about
over in
MOBAs.
yeah, but
Like,
over
dude,
in
Dota?
Asia, yeah,
Dude, the international? Dude,
like I don't
Dota
even know
is.
a thing about it.
Have you ever looked into how big the prize pools are for a single tournament or for the
Yeah,
international?
it was like
Dude, they have like $30 million prize
25 like
pools
mhm.
for the champions. Like, dude, Call of Duty's got like a $2 million prize pool.
I feel like if Call of Duty crowdfunded
I was gonna
like
say,
they
yeah,
done with
that's a big
Halo,
difference is the crowdfunding.
like if they done that, like they done with Halo a couple of years back when they like the $2 million world
Yeah,
championship or whatever. Like I feel like we might have like a $10 million prize pool,
I think we could.
but
The fan base is there. Obviously, the money is there. Like, people buy cosmetics left and right.
like the way the franchising is right now, like they're very stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Which
they're
makes
very
sense. I mean, you
stubborn with
just
all that kind of
franchise,
stuff.
like, you're only in year two. Like, there's some building blocks that you have to establish first, probably.
hmm
Um,
So I fell in love with competitive. I'm just consuming insane amounts of content of the Huntsmen, and then we get to a home series, and I think it was the Florida home series. I think it was in June, and
sounds about right.
they what do you call it? They were playing so well up to this point, and then they got knocked down to losers bracket, but I don't know who. They make a losers bracket run, something like that, anyways. And then just the losers bracket final, I guess you could say, before you like got into the actual like home
Yeah,
series
yeah.
final, they lost, and I was just
I
absolutely
think that
like,
was the Florida home series
yeah, like I was just like
because I think that
so
was the
upset about it.
first one that Florida won after, and then
hmm
they repeated the next series.
Like it's weird last year because teams like Florida only played Huntsman 3 times
The
the whole
schedule was a
time
little
last year,
weird.
something like that. Yeah, like it's way more structured this year
Mm-hmm.
than it was
Which,
last
to
year.
be fair, first year you're gonna have some things
hmm
to work out. Second year, COVID, I'm sure played a role.
Like it was really messed up.
So
Uh,
then, was your transition then? So like, obviously, you kind of became a, I'll say, Green Wall fan because we kind of continued using Green Wall even when it was Huntsman.
yeah.
So like, you got
Well,
introduced to that fan
actually,
base through the Huntsman then,
I got introduced to the fan base through the Huntsman,
and
but I
then you
didn't know
just
about the Green
transitioned to
Wall.
being an OpTic fan when Hex bought it back, and kind of that transition happened.
Yeah, like basically, like
Dude, that's
you know the
awesome.
way they'd show
You're
like
the first person.
videos.
Literally, you're the first person I've talked to that has done that. Everyone else I've talked to was a fan of OpTic right before everything went downhill.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I'm saying. My
2016,
story's like
2017.
completely different.
Yeah, like everyone like remembers a glimpse of what OpTic was
hmm
and then all the dark crap. And then like now they're back. I feel like there are a handful of people that have been around longer than that. And have, like
Well,
I
it's
said
weird because I'm
in
like,
I think the second episode, like I feel like I'm becoming a
yeah,
very small group of people that have actually continued to watch this whole time.
mhm,
Because I think the only year that I actually didn't really watch like anything, 2 years,
yeah,
was World War II. I didn't really watch anything, and this I'd say like the second half of Black Ops 3. Because I did watch some Black Ops 3, just not as much. World War II, I didn't really watch anything. But other than that, from
because like my story is very weird.
it's
Like
definitely
I go
different.
from
And
being
even
a
like starting as a Phase fan, like
yeah,
when you
like I'm a
said, yeah, my
hyper
story's a
phase
little
fanboy.
different, I was
Yeah,
like,
like
okay,
it's
that's fine,
quite
but I was
different.
not expecting this.
Like went from hyperphase fanboy to absolutely despising Optic, and now just being
A hyper
to
OpTic
being
fanboy.
yeah like a Chicago Huntsman super fan, and now to Optic. You know,
So let me ask this then. Like, in your opinion, why did that happen? Like, why did you, like, what's made OpTic different that made you kind of, or Huntsman? Let's kind of go Huntsman and OpTic because it's all the same people realistically, just to
mm,
switch in the name. Like, at what point did you fall off of Phase? Like, why did you stop watching Phase? And like
like
what's made OpTic
honestly,
special?
like honestly, like Fortnite killed so many content creators that I loved off. Like when they switched from COD to Fortnite, like
Like
I was
that's what
done with them.
started. Okay.
Like I'm not your typical kid. Like I did not fall in love with Fortnite. Maybe
Oh,
in the
see, I
beginning,
definitely
like,
did.
mhm.
I downloaded it first day, and that was like the most naturally addicted I've been to a video game since Modern Warfare 2. Like,
Yeah, like I
my
mean,
body was just waking up at 7 in the morning, like no alarm clock. I was just like wanted to get on and play Fortnite for the first from day one until like season 3 is when I started to get bored. And by the end of season 4, I was like, all right, I'm going to keep playing this because there's no other fun games right now, but like I'm not having a good time.
yeah, like in the beginning, I loved Fortnite until like season 3, the same as yourself.
Yeah.
Like
The thing that
when I
killed me,
seen,
I still remember it. It was I believe it was the Omega skin. It was the first one that had like multiple levels to that skin. Like grinding for the final version of the Omega at the end of season 3 or 4. That final grind, literally the last week of that season, that burnt me out of Fortnite permanently.
yeah, because like I love esports now, but like the way like how Fortnite was so chill back then. When
And the
Fortnite started
building
to
has
get
gotten
competitive,
ridiculous.
yeah, when Fortnite started to get competitive, that's when I did not like it.
Yeah.
Like everyone was cranking 90s and stuff. Like I just want to
Well,
sit here
and
and
are you a
shoot
console
somebody, you
player?
know.
Yeah, well,
No, I'm on PC.
now
Well, I
you
was a
are. I
console
say you
player at the
were because you
time.
said you started on Xbox Live,
Yeah,
but now you're
yeah.
on PC. See, what broke me on Fortnite too was like, I, the first day that they added like Builder Pro button preset, I switched to it. The first day that they added like Combat Pro, I switched to
Mhm.
it. So it was like constantly like, keeping up with the meta. And then they added turbo building so that the controller players could compete with PC.
Mhm.
But turbo building also meant that all the time that I spent practicing and like learning how to build properly, like maybe people weren't building properly, but they were building just as quick as me because the turbo building was so fast.
You
And I'm
see,
like, that felt like I had 2 months of like me getting good basically wiped away because they turned on turbo building. Like, dude, now
yeah.
everybody can like build. Maybe it's not good building, but they can still get it down quickly. And like, I feel
Like
like
I
the
really like
skill gap got fucked.
I really like the fast-paced gameplay. Like I said, like I'm a natural SMG, like when rush
Mm-hmm.
everyone's face. But Fortnite to me, like it just got way
Too
too
much.
fast-paced.
Too
Yeah,
much. Yeah, dude. I watched someone sent me
like
a
having to
clip
deal with
today,
editing,
and
switching to your guns, like.
everybody in the comment section of the TikTok was like, "Yep, this is why I stopped playing." And it was a guy
Mhm.
1v4ing and going through all his mats. Like it was as cracked as you could imagine.
Like
Everyone's like, "Yep,
it's
that's why I stopped."
overly cracked.
And I'm like, "Yep,
Like when the casual aspect came out of Fortnite, that's when it died for me.
yeah, agreed."
And like that's when I stopped
So
being a
that's
FaZe
what.
fan.
So the transition, everyone switching from COD to Fortnite content wise, is what you
What killed a
stopped watching
lot of
FaZe
like,
as much, and any other creators
yeah,
you were watching.
yeah, like to me, like they didn't stick with it, you know? Like they kind of like sold out basically, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well,
cuz
yeah, and the viewership was insane, so it did feel like a sellout.
I mean like, you know, obviously do what you need to do for yourself, but
Yeah, but
as
still,
like
like it's still like I feel like there were some creators I did watch that did the same thing, and it was like obviously, yeah, do what you got to do for yourself, but like it feels like now you're ignoring the fans that made you.
mm,
Right, the people have been here the whole time throughout Call of Duty, and like they're it's kind of shitty too because like if you're a real fan, you should just follow them wherever.
yeah, like it's basically just like FaZe said goodbye COD and then just instantly just turned
Mm-hmm.
into a Fortnite clan. Like and I'm like I'm out. Like
So that's pretty much your falling in love with OpTic story.
mhm.
Was super different than the first 2 episodes and way more different than I was expecting, even though you kind of told me it was going to be different. Didn't expect it to be that different.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say about the Florida home series. So they lost the losers final or whatever. And I'm like, this sucks so bad. Like that's the first time I've like really experienced like a loss like that
Mm-hmm.
since like
I'd
rugby
say
and
at least
stuff,
in
you know.
esports.
hmm
Yeah.
So like I said, I've obviously matured so much since then.
Mm-hmm.
Like just in the past year. So I'm like, they've lost, and I was thinking in my head like, oh, I've always loved FaZe. Like, let me jump it on the bandwagon as usually people do now. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna stick with Huntsman, and I'm completely glad I did because like
Yes.
there's no fans
See,
like
for me, that is definitely a turning point. Like I look out for the fans that jump ship
yeah.
because I'm like, listen, man, I've been watching OpTic for a long time. I've seen a lot of losses. I got
Mhm.
introduced to their competitive team in Black Ops 2. Well, technically COD Champs 2011 or COD XP 2011,
Yeah.
but like Modern Warfare 3 didn't really have a solid competitive season. Black Ops 2
Yeah.
obviously did.
Yeah, MLG like just completely like jump ship over to Halo
Yeah. But
in
like, so Black Ops
2011.
2 is really where like I started watching their competitive team, and I watched it all year. Like
Mhm.
the first tournament I watched was outside of after COD XP. The first tournament I watched was UMG Chicago 2012 or 2012. So I watched all season. Like OpTic had a solid third place Black Ops 2 performance. I think they won like 2 or 3, but like they were the third place team. So like I watched them lose a lot. I watched them play really well, but like I never saw them secure that win. And so like I see the fans that jump ship. And then we have like obviously the dynasty team where we walked through everybody outside of COD champs. Champs, obviously we couldn't really lock it down for a few tries. But
Back
like,
on like the C team now, like I'm kind of like sad in a way I wasn't following them back then because like watching like 60-50 videos
dude,
and 12
I
or
remember like the
35.
announcement video when they said they were moving into 60-50.
Mhm.
And I was like, yo, this is the coolest thing. Like nobody's ever done this before.
Mhm.
And then there was a ridiculous amount of good content that came out of that.
Mhm.
And like, you know what's cool
Because
is like
like
you and Ethan, the Avenger, he was the episode 2 guest. Like you guys both have gone back and watched old content,
mhm.
which is awesome.
Like it's like if I turn on an old like this just sounds like how new of a competitive fan I am and how new of a like an optic fan I have never watched Division and I'm currently rewatching it right now.
So
Or not
I've
rewatching
seen
it.
a lot of episodes. I've never watched it all in all. I watched it a lot at the beginning, but then it started covering too many different esports.
Mhm.
So I would just skip to the Call of Duty section. It's like I haven't
Yeah, you see,
experienced Vision to the same extent a lot of people have. And
yeah, like cuz
Vision started when I was starting to watch less and less because life was just getting busier. So it's like I just didn't have as
like the
much
ones
time to
I'm
watch.
rewatching now like
Dude, it's really
they're
good.
covering like the CS:GO. Yeah, like what Hitch done with it is just
Dude, and the fact that it was just
like
Hitch
there's
for
no
so
other
long.
esports. Mhm. There was no other esports documentary
Have
like it, you know.
you, one, have you played Minecraft? Two, have you ever gone and watched the Hunting OpTic series with Syndicate?
Uh, dude, Minecraft. Oh my god, like 2014. I was like Black Ops 2 and Minecraft
Those are like the two
were like my
games.
two games.
Have you watched that
Like
series?
no, like
You know of
I.
it though.
Mhm.
Dude, that is one of my favorites of all time. I remember kind of
Like,
when it
and
started
the thing
happening, and
is,
I was
I
like,
was
I didn't
in the
know Minecraft. I
syndicate,
didn't play Minecraft. I started to play Minecraft because of that series.
and I was in the syndicate as well because I played Minecraft. But then I probably seen him upload the hunting optic video
You
when he
probably
originally
actively
done it.
avoided it because you didn't like OpTic.
Yep. Like I am
Dude,
like, kicking it ever
it,
since. Like,
if you ever get the chance to go watch it, I've watched it through twice. The second time I only watched Syndicate's perspective.
mhm.
The first time I watched all of them, like they'd all upload their daily videos and I'd go watch them. Dude, that series was so well executed. And at the time, like it made me think Syndicate was like the greatest Minecraft player in the world. Because like, dude, he didn't use any resource or anything. Like he found them because they were making they were making dirt towers to like mark kind of where they were.
Like, cause I rewatched or not rewatched. I keep saying that. I watched all the eavesdrops as well,
Yeah,
and
I've heard most of them. I'm probably missing like a small handful.
I think he was the 60-50 special or something, where he was in the hex quarters and he had a big timer, nade shot, and scump,
Yeah,
and obviously self hex. And they were just talking about hunting optic, and they're
dude.
like, probably like the most magical thing
It
like ever done.
Yeah, I don't think anything. It was one of those where it's like, are you a fan of like superhero movies? Like, are you a Marvel fan?
Well, I don't know what it is. When I was younger, stuff that I hated, I really like now for some reason.
So,
And I just think it's because I matured a lot. But yes,
have you seen all the MCU stuff?
no, I am definitely gonna have to
Okay, so like
watch it.
for me, I think I don't know, probably let's see, Iron Man 1. I started watching the MCU stuff I think really early on. Like I want to say the first one I watched was either the first Iron Man or the first Captain America.
Like,
But like
I've
it will
watched the
never be
Iron
done
Mans.
again.
Yeah,
Like
like I've
nobody can
watched the Iron
go
Mans.
make a connected universe like Marvel did it first. And people might go out and like they might do the same thing and it might be just as good, it might be better, but like there is something magical about being the first ones that do it. And I feel like that's what Hunting OpTic did. Like, yeah, they can go and they can, you can get all the same guys and they can all go make a new server and they can all play together. But like now,
Like it's the same
Scum
with
big
like
time right
Dream
ahead
and
because like
stuff.
they've all played it now. They're experienced at the game. At the
Like,
time, they'd never played Minecraft before. And
like if
Syndicate,
you think
you were a
about
Syndicate
like,
fan, like he was playing a ton of it.
like he was a Call of Duty Zombies YouTuber, but like he was.
See, I know of that. I got introduced to him through the Hunting OpTic series.
Yeah.
So I know him more as a Minecraft YouTuber. Like I
Yeah.
know before that, yeah, he was huge on zombies. I've just never been big in zombies, so I never got into them. All right, let's see. Let's go down the list of questions. Your story kind of answered a lot of them. Actually,
I was gonna say about the Chicago beating OGLA at Champs.
Oh, the Envoy moment. Envoy friggin'
like what do you call it? I was watching it and I'm like this is the first time I'm supporting a team watching Champs. And then it was 5-5 round 11.
Dude.
And I could describe it the exact same way like I was feeling at the moment. Like that's the moment that is cemented in my head.
See, I've got a few of those.
Like OpTic. Well, Huntsmen, whatever. When Preston died on the left side, my heart just completely just fell, dude. Like I was so scared.
Yeah. Dude, like that is one of the most intense matches of all time, I think.
Cause then what do you call it? It switches over to Scump behind the bar, and then he picks up. What was it? 2 kills.
Yeah.
Like my god. And then I think who was it? Hollow shoots RCD in like the foot, and then someone gets him traded out. And then who was it? Was it against TJ? Am I wrong? Who did he win the 1v1 against?
Pretty sure it was TJ.
Yeah, so
I'm
TJ
not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it was TJ. Because that was because they had teamed the year before, so it was kind of a big deal with that.
Like, I could not sit down no more. Like, I had to stand up. Like, as soon as I seen Scump behind the bar, like, gets 2 kills, like, my heart was just pounding. Yeah. And then when he ran out the house,
like that.
When he ran out the house, and I'm just sitting there, like, oh my god, his health, like, this just happened in the space of, like, milliseconds, but it felt like 2 minutes. And when he got that kill, I was
watch that game, and it's still just as intense.
Even like I was just the ending. Going crazy.
I'd say the first time I experienced something like that was probably UMG Chicago 2012. OpTic versus Complexity, hijacked hardpoint.
Yeah.
And like going back, it actually wasn't that intense, but it was my first taste of like real competitive. And then after that, OpTic versus Complexity at COD Champs, when Scump got the 3-piece on Aftermath S&D. It was like a $20,000 round because it secured them the 3rd place finish. And there was a $20,000 jump in the prize pool between 3rd and 4th place. And Scump came in. Complexity was dominant that year. And Scump came in and got a 3-piece in search on round 11. And like, oh, dude, it was so intense. That was like the first time that I had something that was like
And it's like such a
edge of your
special
seat.
moment as well for like it's because like now I'm glad that I got into like
Dude, you know what's crazy too is like
Huntsmen and I got into competitive like just the moments like that are just unmatched, you know.
the crazy thing about that particular round too, the round 11 against OGLA is like, yes, it was a super intense round and everything, but then like come to find out that it was a pivotal role in Hex getting OpTic back. Like if
Yeah,
OpTic
like
wins that, Hex maybe doesn't get OpTic back. Because like maybe they don't look
like
to sell.
I don't know who said it. Like it could have been Enable or it could have been one of the OpTic members, but they're like if OpTic OGLA won that, they definitely feel like they would have won champs. But
Yeah, I think
I
I've
don't
heard
know.
that. I've heard that I think from a couple people because they were playing really well.
But I don't know. Like Dallas last year, like towards the end, was like
Was pretty
insane.
dominant. Yeah.
hmm
All right, so you've gone back and you've watched older OpTic content. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've gone like if it's mostly been more competitive related because it's been a while now since OpTic has like dropped their sniper team and stuff. But do you have a favorite OpTic member out of the current lineup, including, and it could be anyone involved, right? Hitch, it could be Sender, like anybody currently in OpTic, and then all time. Which I'm assuming for
Well,
you might be the same person since you're a relatively newer OpTic fan.
so what do you call it? I definitely say like out of the 4 team members right now, it is just insanely hard to pick out of any of them. Like I have a few favorites, like Scump, obviously. I mean, he's just then Dashy as well, Envoy, like Formal, like the vibes, like they're just crazy, you know. And then like probably no one else will pick this, but right now like Maniac, honestly, like
Dude,
he's such a
Maniac's
like
actually been killing it.
yeah, like he's just such a chilled out guy, you know. He's just
Dude,
like
it's
so mellow.
hilarious too.
I'd say if he like, I'd honestly love to see him like be the 4th member, like TST, because I think that the vibes would just be
Dude, that would be
insane
good.
between those 4.
Yeah. I know Hitch wants it. Hitch wants it to happen. He's hinted at it a few times. Like, at least for like league play and stuff, he does have the TST vibes. Yeah, dude, Maniac's, I'm glad he's doing good because, like, dude, he's funny.
Like I feel like Maniac would join TST if TST didn't play so much COD, maybe.
Yeah, if they played
Because
some
like
other
Maniac
stuff.
doesn't really like COD right now, you know.
Did you happen to see the freaking clip I tweeted out of the Avenger doing the Maniac impression?
Oh yeah.
Dude, am I the only, like, am I wrong? I don't think he was trying to do a Maniac impression at first, but like, dude, as soon as I heard it, I was like, dude, that is spot on. And then he kind of started doing it a little bit more, and I was like, dude, that's insane. All right, so Scump and Maniac, good choices. Scump, I think, especially as the series goes on and I talk to more people, I think I'm going to hear Scump a lot. And deservingly.
I feel like Maniac's like kind of like a wild card pick.
That is a
you know,
wild
like,
card. That's not one I was expecting.
he's kind of in the background, like, you know.
When you said this might be unexpected, I was expecting maybe one of the TST guys. Was not
Like
expecting
my
Maniac.
like when I was saying my story is different about OpTic, it is
Oh, it's
completely
different.
different.
Favorite moments? Do you have a top 3 or top 5 favorite OpTic moments? Well, we'll go top 3, I guess. I feel like top 3 is easier. Top 5, I feel like you get too many chances.
Well, the first one, obviously, the round 11 versus
Yeah, I would say,
OGLA.
yeah, I figured.
And you see, like, I don't really think I can answer 2 more because I'm such like a new fan of them.
So you think maybe you just haven't watched quite enough?
Yeah.
Fair
Like
enough.
I'm watching the CDL every week it comes on, but
I need
there
to watch
hasn't
the
been
last
like a
2
moment
matches.
like that again.
The one they...
Yeah.
I need to watch the 0-6 count for the week.
Yeah, that it really sucks because like they practice every single day,
So I
and
think
it's
they just don't... I don't think this meta suits them that well.
like the meta is about to change so much tomorrow. Like they're about to change so many guns. Like they just nerf snaking, and there's just so many
It's gonna
other
be an
things.
interesting week.
Like especially
okay, so
in like
we'll just
scrims
leave
and
it
stuff.
at a top 1, being the round 11.
Oh yeah, did you say is all my what do you call it? Favorite OpTic member of all time that's not there anymore?
It could be. I mean, they might still be in it, but it could be anybody. Yeah.
I would honestly have to say Krim and Karma.
Okay.
Like
Wasn't expecting.
I don't
Krim.
know.
Karma I
Krim,
can get because Karma's mine. Mine are big timer in Karma.
Like I actually only played with Karma like 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, on a PC game called Squad, and
Nice.
he's just such a down to earth person, you know.
That, and he's nasty at every game he plays.
Dude, like I'm not good on keyboard and mouse, and I looked at the kill or there's no kill feed because it's like a military simulator kind of game. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
very realistic. I checked the leaderboard after. He had like 30 kills,
Dude,
and
you know
I'm
what's
like,
crazy is like you look at his performance in COD, and just keep in mind
mhm.
that like in his off time, he's playing keyboard and mouse games all the time.
You see, I can be good at like any
He,
game, but if it's not on keyboard and mouse,
yeah, I
like
can
I can be
aim
like that.
decently actually. Like my mouse aim
Mhm.
isn't bad, and my WASD movement isn't bad. It's all the other stuff like jumping, crouching, sprinting,
Yeah, like I just feel like
like all the little accessory movements and stuff.
the
Like,
mouse is like too twitchy
yeah. See,
to
mine's like
me.
not bad. I think I could get pretty good at it if I put
Yeah.
the time in. Movement
Hmm.
though, dude. Like I teabag a lot while I shoot. Like literally, like I play with
Hmm.
the Xbox Elite controller, and like I literally just crouch, stand up, crouch, like while I'm in a
I
gunfight.
do that sometimes myself.
Like I can't do that on keyboard. No chance.
Hmm.
Like I tried getting into Battalion 1944 when that was a thing.
Hmm.
That game was super fun, and I was okay at it, but my movement sucked.
Actually, we watched the old video that Karma put up about that.
Dude,
They were just destroying people.
yeah, like
But
walking through people is ridiculous.
mhm.
Even like, dude, Hex and
Krim,
like hit like all the old guys were killing it.
Krim, what do you call it? This is probably another like weird to hear,
Kind of
but like
wild card.
yeah, like I don't know what it is about Krim. Like I like idolize him because he's just so relatable to me. Like really,
Really.
like
See,
I don't know why. Like I look up to him
I do like
a
Krim
lot.
a lot.
Mm,
Like there is no part of me that does not like Krim. Like yeah, I guess you know there is kind of like a weird rivalry and stuff, but
yeah.
like I do really like him. If he ever retires, I would love for him to come back and be a content creator. And he's hilarious. He's another super funny dude.
Like I don't know what it is, but I just look up to him
I mean, he
so
knows how to get
much.
stuff done, dude. He has how many wins
Mm.
now? Like
He
30
has
something.
36 major
Yeah.
tournament wins or something.
He's got to catch, who's the winningest to 40 time? Is it Ogre 2?
I wouldn't know.
Ogre, it's a Halo Pro. Halo Pro. It's either Ogre 1, Ogre 2, or Walshy. Pretty sure it's Ogre 2. He has 40 major wins in Halo.
I mean, no one will ever beat his record on console because I mean, there is no esport on console no more.
Yeah.
Like I think COD was the last
God was the last one.
console esport.
If you could meet anybody in OpTic, who would it be and why?
Honestly, either Hex,
And I'm going to say hang
Krim.
out with, not just meet them, but like if you could get like a day to like hang out with them, I guess. I think that'll be a fun twist for this question.
Like I think Hex would be like just like such a cool person to hang out with
Mm-hmm.
because he's just like so chilled out and he's a really bubbly person.
Yeah. See,
But like
go
I
on.
feel like Maniac as well. Like you'd be able to vibe with him, you know, like because he's just such a funny guy.
Yeah. See, one
And
of
then
the
like
reasons I added like hang out with is because like I've met a few of them. Like I've met Hex, I've met Scump, Karma, Krim, Formal.
I feel like
TB.
Formal would be just laughing the whole time. Like
Like I've met like a lot of the pro OpTic players. So I'm like, okay, like for myself, like okay, well, like meeting them is one thing, but like if I got to hang out with someone with an OpTic, I feel like my list changes because like Hex would still be on there. I'd love to do like if I could hang out with him, like come over, have like a barbecue, have some killer Mexican food, hang out with all those dogs. Like I feel like that'd be a good time. Quote Snatch, dude. Literally, bucket list is to watch the movie Snatch with Hex. If you haven't watched that movie, it's like one of my favorites.
Is that like the heist movie? Like
Yeah,
it's in like Britain, I think. Yeah.
yeah. The Guy Ritchie movie, Brad Pitt. Dude, top tier movie, S tier. And I feel like a lot of people, like I quote this movie all the time, and a lot of people I feel like don't know it. And like Hex is one of the few people. Like I already love and respect the guy a ton, but he also has Snatch as like one of his top 5 favorite movies. I'm like, dude, if I could just chill in your theater room, with freaking Henry the Great. Watch Snatch, that'd be great.
Honestly, like Krim is all like I said. Like I feel like he'd be able to give you like so much advice about like competing and like the mindset that he
Yeah.
has.
And then someone else I feel like would be probably Big Timer.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I feel like Big Timer would just be super fun to hang out with. Big Timer, and then I feel like if you name anybody within TST, you have to do all three of them. Because I feel like hanging out with Hitch by himself, like hanging out with any of them by themselves, wouldn't be the same. You'd have to hang out with all three of them.
Yeah, because it's just like the three of their personalities
I feel
combined.
like out of three of them, Blake would probably be the one I'd want to hang out with the most. Just like by himself.
Because I think I seen in the other episode that like the way I relate to Krim, like you kind of relate to like Blake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, Blake. Yeah, I'd say like of anybody involved with like OpTic right now, Blake's probably the one I relate to the most. All right, let's see. Normally I'd ask if you've ever been to an event, but you already said you have not.
I mean, if COVID gets
Better
sorted out and all that, and there's a London home series, you already know I'm going to be there. So.
What would be like your dream event to go to? Because for me, London is actually a runner-up for dream event. Just because the amount of hype that like matches, London crowds and stuff have. Like, yeah, I want to go to a London event. That'd be badass.
Yeah, like that goes back. Like you probably seen my tweet about the chants.
Mm-hmm.
Like we only got the one chant. Dude, basically,
it drives me nuts. I think I've talked about it in both episodes. Like, oh my god, it's terrible.
The soccer culture over here is huge, and I mean,
and I feel
every
like that can
single
bleed
team.
Into, it should bleed into esports.
Like every single team has their own like fan club, like basically like Greenwall. I mean, what do you call it?
The soccer have super like personalized chants for the different teams.
Mm-hmm. Like what do you call it?
Let's go OpTic. Like come on.
The team I support, Arsenal. The fans of that are called the Gooners or the Gunners.
Mm-hmm.
There is just numerous amount of chance that we have for that.
Yeah, dude. My god, it drives me nuts.
And even like, there wouldn't be chance. Like sometimes they'd even just like start singing songs.
I would say yes. Like, sometimes like they're almost more songish than just a chant.
Like you could just imagine like a stadium of 80,000 people completely packed out, and 60,000 of them people are supporting the one team.
Right.
And everyone's just singing the same song. Like you could imagine that. Like that's how huge soccer is over here.
And like in comparison, like that's how huge the green wall is compared to the other teams. Like at least proportionately, right? Like obviously COD esports isn't nearly
like
as
I said at like the beginning.
But it's like 60-80% of the Call of Duty competitive fan base are OpTic fans.
Like I said earlier, like the green wall, what it is now is all thanks to Hex because of what he done.
It's crazy. It's like, dude, Hex is a soccer fan. Family. Like, come on, man. Make up some chants. Do something for us. Come on, Hex.
Like, he should honestly just like, in a podcast, he should just say, we're about to start a poll or something like that.
Dude, I'm going to email him or something, but I'm going to come up with some.
Yeah, like, submit your chants, and then we'll just make an entire list.
At one point. I want to say I made a list when they switched from OpTic to Huntsmen. In the OG Hype Squad Discord, I was like, guys, can we have some new chants? Here's some suggestions that I've come up with over the years. And it just got zero feedback. And I was like, okay, cool.
Oh, yeah, you were saying about the event. From rewatching the match against E6 at Champs, I would have loved to have been there. Like, Dashy's 5-piece, TJ going like crazy in the cellar, and then Karma getting the 5-piece on like the side of the map.
I was there.
Oh.
And dude, Dashy's 5-piece, my favorite part about that clip is like, so he gets the 3-piece, right? And 3 pieces are already pretty rare in Black Ops 4, given, you know, the extra health and all. So he gets the 3-piece, everyone goes crazy. He gets the 4th kill, and like you hear the volume of the crowd rise, right? Like people go more crazy. Then when he gets the 5th kill, like if you like listening to the crowd go, like you hear like the levels of it, dude. That is one of my favorite.
That
That's
is
probably
like
my
what is
single favorite like crowd energy that I've ever heard in a clip. Oh man, that
like
is so
soccer's
good.
like that as well. Like say your team's about to score, you'll hear the whole crowd just going,
Like you can hear it
"Oh!"
building.
Like every time he gets closer or he's about to take the kick, it just gets even louder and louder, and then everyone just goes crazy when he
Yeah.
scores, like just screaming.
And what's crazy in soccer too is like soccer, you don't have high scoring games, right? So like when someone is about to score, like it is a big deal. It's not like basketball, right, where you have 100-point game.
Yeah.
It's like no, you finish matches like 3-1, and like hockey's kind of like that too. Like you rarely have high scoring hockey games.
But like I don't know what
man.
other event. Well, obviously, I would have liked to go to CWL
Chance 2017.
Yeah,
That
100%.
like yeah, like dude, if I could be part of that crowd when they finally won, like a team that I've been watching for 7 years, I've watched them choke twice at champs at that point. To finally see him win it, dude, to be a part of that crowd would have been
Another crazy moment that I don't think like no one like really remembers, but I've like watched the game is when OpTic versus E United. E United were like OpTic were 8 points away from 250, and E United just comes the whole way back from like 250 on like the hill where Dashy got his 5-piece.
yeah. I say that was the same map, freaking.
And then they were just getting like the kill feed was just going back and forth. It was like a tug of war.
Yeah.
And they got to the cellar hill, and then Karma.
I would say that was when Karma, I think, got like a 2-piece.
Yeah, Karma went absolutely stupid.
Yeah, and then
like,
I think I want to say it was Krim stepped in too. Like Karma led the charge, and then Krim came in and like
because you even hear the commentator. It sounds like he's about to pass out, like from just yelling. Like it's crazy.
God, that was a good moment. The Dashy 5-piece though, the crowd energy in that, pretty unrivaled. I could say like the only thing that rivals that is OpTic winning champs in 2017, but I feel like that doesn't really count because like they're winning champs. Of course, it's going to be hyped. All right, so this I don't know if you'll be able to answer this question, seeing as you haven't watched a ton. But do you have a favorite series that OpTic has done, or do you feel like you just haven't watched enough series because you're just now starting to watch Vision, like rewatch it all?
Well, I'd say yeah, but like I kind of liked what Scump and Envoy were doing in the beginning of Cold War, like the Road to 100 or whatever.
Okay.
And stuff.
That's a good one, actually, because that's a throwback series, too, that has happened a few different times.
Yeah, I think the Old Men of OpTic, I've heard it mentioned.
Old Men of OpTic have done it. Scump and Nade, like the 6050 squad did it. Scump and Nade have done it, just like I think those two. It's like it was cool to see Scump kind of bring that back with Envoy.
Like, for longtime fans, like that was probably a nostalgia trip when he first started doing it in Cold War.
Yeah. No, it was. Like I saw the title and like thumbnail and I was like, and what's great is like Scump is still part of it.
Yeah, like at the beginning of Cold War as well, like Old Men of OpTic were like playing so much game battles. Like I wish they uploaded it to YouTube though.
Yeah,
I don't think there's a single match on YouTube.
Diesel, I think, is the only one that uploads those like pretty regularly.
Yeah, so I wouldn't really know about like Diesel and Hutch is like
dude, Hutch is like old school. Like, dude has been around for like I remember one of these saddest moments in like YouTube history for me.
Did he compete in like COD 4 and stuff?
No, he was a sniper. He was actually really good. I'm pretty sure there's a match on Shipment because like in order to get back in OpTic way back in the day, like COD 4, you had to 1v1 him on Shipment, and like Hutch was like kind of their go-to guy. It's like, well, if you could beat Hutch, like yeah, you're good.
He was like their star player.
Yeah, for a little bit. Yeah, there's a match. I don't remember who he's playing. I want to say it's maybe D-Treats. It's an old player, though. It hasn't been around. Yeah, D-Treat's my favorite sniper of all time. He's a pro PUBG player now. But there's one on YouTube that's old as hell. But I remember, like, one of the saddest moments for me, like, in YouTube time is freaking seeing Hutch leave Machinima.
Dude, Machinima
Yeah.
was
This was
so
in like,
much
I don't know,
back in the day.
2012 or something. 2013 maybe. Like Hutch made a video leaving Machinima, and I was like, what? Like, how
Like,
can you even do that? Like, you are Machinima. You can't just leave. What are you talking about? Yeah, it was devastating.
Machinima was like,
Machinima was the home of gaming on YouTube.
yeah, like I don't know, like the way like I wouldn't really know because I'm only 15, but like MTV was like the home of music or whatever.
Similar, actually. Yeah,
It kind of
that's a pretty good comparison.
yeah.
Like
So
early
basically,
MTV.
Machinima is the MTV of YouTube gaming,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, that's like a perfect analogy, I'd say. I think that's actually pretty much it. I think we've answered like most of the questions. Like I said, I think like your background story kind of answered some of them. Like we mentioned that you hadn't gone to an event. The transition, like you weren't an OpTic fan before the Huntsmen, so like you didn't really have to go through that. That's all stuff like I normally ask people like, well, what did you do during the 2019 season? Like, did you continue to root for OpTic or did you become a Huntsman fan? Did you do both? I think that's pretty much it. Do you do any content yourself? Do you stream? Like what are you doing currently?
I would really, because actually, I think one of the questions that you asked in the other podcast was like, what would you be
Yeah.
on OpTic?
Yeah. If you could be involved with OpTic in any way, shape, or form, whether it's a pro player for them, behind the scenes guy like Hitch was for Vision, if you're like Matt and you're just like you follow Hex around with a camera, like what would you do if you could be involved in any way, shape, or form?
100% a pro player. Like, that is my dream. Like, when I first started watching The Huntsman, I started to discover Simp, and I'm like, what he did at 18, like, that is just crazy,
Yeah, Sim's nasty.
Like, I kind of look up to Simp as all. But competing, like, trying to get to that point, is, like, quite hard for me because I can stream, but I can't at the same time because the internet over here is so bad.
Really?
Yeah, like, my internet right now is 28 up or 28 down and only 5 up. Like, that's
Dude,
so
that
bad.
so from Modern Warfare, let's see. I gotta try to think of the years here. For Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 1, let's see. Yeah, so Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 3, and Black Ops 2, my internet was 3 down and
Wow.
like a half a meg up. Yeah. I didn't experience good internet, quote unquote, until Ghost, and I only got that for
Yeah.
about 6 months before my parents split up for like 6 months. And so my mom's apartment or her house that she was renting, we got, I think it was like, I want to say 30 or 40 down and like 5 up or something. So like about what your speeds
Yeah.
are. And that was like, I was like, finally good internet, which granted, 6-7 years ago, that was pretty good. That was like before gig speeds were so common.
Like, because over here, the only way to get, like, gig is
Have
if
to
you
be a
live in the
business line.
capital. No, like, you wouldn't even get, like, business gig where I'm at. Like, you'd have to live in the capital to get
I would say,
gig.
do you live like a little bit out in kind of the middle of nowhere? Or?
Well, funnily enough, I live on the west coast of Ireland, so there's, like, beaches and all that, but I'm, like, 10 minutes away from the town or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, like, the size of my town, like, wouldn't really be classed as small over here. But Sligo is where I'm at. That would be classed as tiny over there. Like, that would be a
Yeah.
subsection of a city.
Yeah. See, like, oh no. And so I had like what I said was like good internet, like 30 or 40 down or whatever for like 6 months. And then I went back to crappy, like 3 down or whatever.
Because when I first started playing in 2014, I had like 5 down, maybe like 0.5 upload.
Yeah.
So
Which,
I
like,
was
trash. Yeah, that was me from like Modern Warfare 2 to like Ghost. And then let's see. So I had good internet for like 6 months, moved back, had really bad internet for 6 months, and then our house burned down. And then the rental house that we were living in, like while our house was getting rebuilt, that had good internet again.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't care that our house burned down. I got good internet again. So I was on good internet for like a year. And then our house was done being rebuilt. We moved back into it. Crappy internet. And this was like around Black Ops 3. That's one of the reasons I didn't really play it much. Like I played a little bit. I also had my buddy was living living with me. My buddy was living with me. We were sharing the same room. So we would just play like split screen on a tiny screen and like terrible internet. And I'm like, dude, this is no way to like, yeah. So a lot of people have really
those are the
fond of Black
days
Ops
playing
3.
split screen and stuff.
Yeah, like a lot of people have fond of Black Ops 3 memories. And I'm like, dude, I had terrible internet and I was playing split screen. I was
Looking
not
back
having a
on
good
Black
time on
Ops
Black
3
Ops 3.
now, for some reason, I could not stand the multiplayer. Like, I do not know why.
Okay, as far as jetpack games go, I liked the first like 4 to 6 months of Advanced Warfare because, granted, you know, from 2007 in COD 4 until Advanced Warfare, we had the same boots on the ground mechanics, and at the time, everybody was asking for Call of Duty to change. So like, dude, you're giving this the same game every year. It's the same thing. Change it up. So they gave us jetpacks. It was new. It was refreshing. I really liked it. It was a ton of fun. I felt like I had something to learn again. Like I had to learn how to move. Then after about 6 months, it got annoying. But part of that wasn't necessarily because it was jetpacks. Part of that was like the supply drops, right? Like the RNG of weapons. Like some people have the ASM-1 Speakeasy.
Oh my god,
like
dude.
The Bal Inferno and the Bal, what was the other one? It was
Obsidian
the Obsidian Steel. Yeah, like
I can remember like all of that, like the AK rip. Like
yeah, so it's like part of it was annoying because of those kind of guns. Like it wasn't
like,
because of jetpacks.
To me back then, like I didn't know about like competitive whatever. Like I didn't know how much like impactful that was in the game, but to me it was kind of like fun at the same time.
Yeah. Well, it was fun in pubs. Like, dude, if you
it was
did
fun,
have
like
one of the
opening
guns, you
supply
were
drop.
shredding.
Yeah, like me being a little kid, like it was kind of like opening like a present to get like what I wanted, like the speakeasy. And when I eventually got it, it was so hype.
Well, and like, and to be fair, like Advanced Warfare was the last game that I actually played competitively. And like, so I enjoyed like the first 4 to 6 months. And then I was like, all right, I'm kind of over this. Like our team kind of split up. Like I went back and just started playing Modern Warfare 2 again. That's always my fallback game.
Yeah.
Like if I get bored, fire Modern Warfare 2. I'd still try it every once in a while. Knowing I won't find any games, I'll still go fire it up sometimes. And just pray that I can find one match. It never happens.
Because I know they have like they still have a strong PC community.
Yeah. Well, they have those guys that are trying to build the Modern Warfare 2 remaster on the Black Ops 3 as a mod.
I think that actually got canceled a couple of weeks ago.
It got
there's no funding or
halted
something.
at the very least. I know the guy put a tweet out and he was like, yeah, like pretty much I can't work on this anymore. So yeah, that's up in the air. I hope it happens. Yeah. I hope Activision does it. I'd like, no offense to the guys building the mod, but like if Activision does it, that's going to get it in the hands of the most people and they'll have the better, like they'll have a really established engine to run it on. But I don't think
like,
it'll happen.
Funnily enough, I had a PlayStation and an Xbox at the time that Black Ops 3 was out. I actually liked Black Ops 3 on the PlayStation, but not the Xbox.
That's weird.
To be honest,
optimized though for a little bit more for PlayStation because that was right after they switched and made the agreement that they were partnered with PlayStation.
Like I was on Xbox since 2010.
Same.
And I honestly felt like it was the controller. Like my hands are quite small.
Oh,
yeah, like
okay, maybe that's why.
Like playing casually, like the Xbox controller is fine. But like after using a PlayStation controller from like moving to PC and everything else, like
see, I just like the Xbox controller. Like it fits for me. The PlayStation controllers are too light. I feel like I can crush them with my hands. Like they just feel like I don't want to say like cheap plastic, but kinda. The Xbox controllers have that weight to them. Like I feel like I could throw my Xbox controller and nothing will happen to it.
Yeah, especially I had the Elite as well.
Yeah,
like that,
I got the Elite Series 2 right now, and that thing's like thing's built like a tank. But
like after using the default PS4 controller for so long, like the shape of it, like it's definitely my favorite controller.
I don't like the trigger. Like I don't like the PS4 triggers either. Like the default PS4 controller, the triggers. I don't know. Something's weird about them.
And I feel like that's why, because I got to like Prestige 3 on PlayStation, BO3, because I just love playing it. But on Xbox, I was level 27 the whole time.
You just didn't
touch it.
See,
Yeah, I don't know why.
BO3, like I just didn't
Must have been the
play.
controller.
Dude, my favorite jetpack, I like, dude, Infinite Warfare. I actually really liked Infinite Warfare.
I
Like
feel
that
like
game gets
Infinite
so much
Warfare
hate,
gets like, yeah, like it gets unnecessary hate.
like, dude, it was so smooth. The mechanics were good. The supply drops finally made sense because
Yeah, like
if you grinded enough, you could just build whatever you wanted. So it's like it wasn't completely luck based. Like, yeah, there were some broken variants, but like if you just grinded the game, you could get those just by crafting them. You didn't have to hope you get it out of a box.
it felt like if one of like the big YouTubers like back then they were still playing COD, like I don't know, like Ali A,
I would
if you
say
know who
Ali,
that is.
yeah.
Yeah, like if he hated Infinite Warfare,
Everybody hated
the
it.
whole yeah,
Yeah.
like
I
the whole
think
casual
that's kind of
community
what
basically
happened.
hated it.
And I think at the time people were starting to be like, maybe jetpacks aren't so great. Let's go back to boots on the ground. And then they rewound the clock to freaking 1942. Give us that dog shit that was World War II.
Oh God.
I'm not looking forward to World War II Vanguard, by the way.
Like I heard it's on the Modern Warfare engine as well, and that just makes me think no more ledge sliding, no more fast movement.
See,
Like
yeah, and I don't know if you were tweeting about it or what, but like, or maybe it was in the Create Supply Discord. We were talking about that because they said it was going to be on the Modern Warfare engine, and I was like, okay, I like the way the Modern Warfare engine feels. Hit detection, I think, is a little bit better. Like, I like that it's fast paced, but
like
I like the movement in Cold War a lot. Like, I feel like my movement, it's not as fast, but I feel like it's 10 times more fluid in Cold War. And I think ledge sliding is a big part of that.
I think Clay tweeted out about it. He tweeted like the gif of like the guy crying and then just like walking away. But I'm like, this is what do you call it? Everyone was replying to it. They were saying like, why are you saying this? And then I kind of like realized afterwards, like Modern Warfare, I love the tac sprinting. I love all that. Like it feels so fluid, but like we're gonna lose ledge sliding. We're gonna lose all that. And
Okay,
that
I like
sucks.
the weird, like, you know, when you sprint and you jump and you land and slide in Cold War? Like that little thing. Like, I like that. Like, it feels more fluid. And, like, okay, if you're freaking slide canceling and tac sprinting around the map all the time,
Yeah.
like, you know how fucking bad, like, my left thumb feels after a while? Like, dude,
Like,
I'm
I
abusing
do
my
miss something
controller
from
at that
Modern
point.
Warfare. The bunny hopping. Like I really like that. Like you jump and then you jump again and you just go flying.
I don't like that. To me, that's like, it feels a little bit like a broken mechanic. Like, and I never mastered it, which is the other thing. I never put in
Like,
that time.
It just added to that like aggressiveness of like being like an SMG.
Well, and like
player.
if you used it around corners and stuff, it was pretty OP. Like you could bunny hop the corner, shred a team, and like it does add to that fast pacedness. And that could be why I don't like it too, because like being a slower player, like I was always getting gunned down by people bunny hopping around corners. But like, I don't know. I really like, I'm not a huge fan of Cold War. There's definitely some things I don't like about it. But movement, dude, I freaking love the movement in it. It's so good.
Yeah, like 100%.
Last question we asked was like if you could do anything. You said pro player, which I would say, you know, we started talking about internet and all that, right? And speeds, and you were like, you know, you could stream, but the internet's not the greatest. I like if I could rewind, right, and I could do it all again, because some people don't know this. I have been uploading to YouTube for like 10 years. I've had a bunch of different channels, but I have videos on YouTube. Like I think the oldest one is 11 years old, and it's crazy to me to think that even if my content was mediocre, if I was uploading this whole time consistently to one channel, there is 0% chance that I don't have a large following by now. Just because like there weren't that many people uploading 11 years ago. Like there were, but compared to today, like today everybody wants to do it.
Yeah, it's just so like saturated. Really.
Yeah. So it's like back then, like I could have caught the curve, but like if I could rewind back to like when I wanted to be a pro player, I wouldn't worry about streaming as much.
Yeah.
I'd practice and I'd do, honestly, freaking TikToks. Like, TikToks and like 5-minute YouTube videos talking about maybe competitive stuff. Like, I feel like that would be a better strategy than streaming.
Like, I feel like my TikToks like messed up because I didn't know like if you delete videos, they basically flag you as like
They flag you as like a fake account or something.
Like something like that. Like
you like shadow banned or something weird.
Yeah, like they'll literally brand you and like only get you like a set like 400 views per video,
Hmm.
and it's just like you can't go any bigger than that, and that's quite annoying.
That is weird. I know that their algorithms. I saw someone else who's had a really killer year. Someone I met at Champs 2019, super killer year on TikTok, and she said that the new algorithm's kind of weird.
You see, I can make YouTube, but it's just like if I hit an insane gameplay, like I'd have no way recording like the past like 15 minutes of it, like the past 15 minutes or whatever. And then what else? I have no editing software either, so it's quite hard.
DaVinci Resolve, that'd be my recommendation for any, like, I've used it a little bit. I use Premiere Pro right now. I started with Final Cut Pro, but both those are paid softwares. DaVinci Resolve has a free version, and I think it's like hands down the best free editing software right now. Like, it's kind of limited because it's free, but there's a lot of shit you can do enough in it.
Yeah,
DaVinci would be my go-to. Recording would be weird. It's like different for everybody. Like some people can use like the shadow play thing or whatever.
You see, I have an AMD graphics card, so I'll be able to
so do
use that.
I have a Radeon 590. It's okay. I want to get an NVIDIA card. I think their encoding is just a lot better.
Yeah, I actually switched from NVIDIA to AMD card.
What card do you have now?
6900 XT.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
You got the big guns.
Yeah, I'm getting like 300 FPS in game, going crazy.
Yeah, I'm assuming like a Ryzen 7 or Ryzen 9 then.
Yeah, Ryzen 7 5700X.
Yeah, I have a 2700X. Started with the Ryzen 5. It was like the 2400G, I think. Now I've got the 2700X and the Radeon 590. I'm happy with the Ryzen processor. That thing's solid. I think
Ryzen processors are definitely
next year
solid.
I really want to build a new PC just to build it. Like I don't even care if I sold it. I just want to like build another one.
Because they're definitely fun to build.
They're kind of just fun to tinker with. Like, but I am starting to run into some throttling. I think it's mostly the GPU though. I want to switch to. I mean, I would consider the high end AMD cards like what you got. Yeah. As long as they're not running into driver issues. Because I feel like that's always where
I
AMD.
haven't experienced a single issue with this one.
I feel like AMD always has driver issues. Like that's like the one thing holding them back. Because the hardware is insane.
Yeah.
NVIDIA just has such good drivers and like encoding, and they have some cool features. But like, I'd consider a high-end AMD card, but I think right now I want to switch. And I think next year or the following year, I'll try to pick up a newer Ryzen, go for like a 6th gen or like a 5th gen, like Ryzen 9. That'd be great. If I can get like a 5950 in a year or two. I don't even care if it's a couple years old at that point. That thing's insane.
Yeah, but I'll definitely have to look into like the Radeon software for like recording.
I'm saying I know they have it. Like I haven't installed. I've just never used it.
Yeah,
and you've got a beefy enough PC to do it.
Yeah, because all I know is like NVIDIA is obviously better with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think the 6000 series graphics cards though. I'm hoping that this will be the point where AMD can like level the playing field with NVIDIA and maybe surpass them. Because like when they first came out with the Ryzen chips, like 2nd and 3rd gen Ryzens were matched up with Intel pretty well. And then like some of the 3rd gens and like 4th and 5th gen, like Intel's dog water now. Like I would never buy an Intel processor at this point with how good AMD is doing.
No, especially like...
And for the money.
They're still on 14 nanometer. That is like a technology from like
I think the 5th gen is on a 7 nanometer. I believe, yeah,
they're about to go to 5 here with the next generation.
All right, I think that about wraps it up though. So you do have a TikTok, by the way. At the end, I'm sure you noticed this on the first one. I have like the kind of hot ones thing, like give yourself shout outs, tell us where to follow you, where to find you, if you're working on any content, if you have plans for any content, like.
Well, I hope to make YouTube, like find out a way just to record like the last 15 minutes, because that would
at least be able to capture some good gameplays.
Yeah, I'll be able to capture like a lot if I just had that one feature. Like I feel like I'd be able to pump out quite a bit of content. Streaming, that's a whole different thing. Like
I wouldn't even consider it for now.
Yeah, that's like a lost cause.
There's just no discoverability,
especially on Twitch. Like
Twitch
gonna
has, I
watch?
think, the best streaming experience. They
Yeah,
have all the features. Like, it works really well, but the discoverability is terrible.
like the girl. Like, who's gonna watch some random guy playing
Yeah.
League
And you're
play over
playing
Nick Marks?
not just that, but like this is a boat I find myself in, right? Like, it's like you probably don't play many games outside of Call of Duty.
Oh, I used to play every game under the sun.
Really? See, I've like pretty much only been a COD like player. Like, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
go play Minecraft once in a while. Like, I'll go play some other games, but like 90% of my gaming is Call of Duty. It's
Like
like,
when I was really like ill, like I had so many other games. Like I was really into Destiny and GTA when it was
yeah.
like really
GTA
ill.
4, I was super. GTA 3, GTA 4 was into, never got into GTA 5. Destiny, it was all PvE based in the first one, so I wasn't a big fan. Never picked up the second
But
one.
yeah, when I
Like,
got heavily into comp, I'm like I've never really like Call of Duty is probably the most game I've played, but I've played countless other games. But like when I got into comp and when I decided I want to play comp, I'm like going to put all my focus into this
yeah.
game.
But so the, where I was getting with that though is like not only is Twitch super saturated, Call of Duty is super saturated. So it's like, yeah, like who's gonna watch someone playing League play? It's like, dude, it's Call of Duty. You're gonna be on page like 50. No one's going to
Yeah.
page 50 to find you. I will say, so I've streamed to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and
Yeah.
YouTube's not like they don't have many features, but dude, my stream has never looked crispier. Like, dude, 1080p 60 is flawless, and I can crank the bit rate way up. Twitch,
Like I really
their
miss.
transcoding sucks shit. My 720, well, I do like 900p 60 with like as high of bit rate as I can, and it still looks mediocre.
Like I really miss Mixer, especially coming
Yeah.
from Xbox.
So I started with Twitch back before it was Mixer, when it was Beam. I started with Twitch, and then Microsoft bought Beam and made it Mixer. And then when you stream directly from your Xbox, it had to go to Mixer for a little bit. So I switched to Mixer. And then
Like-
when I built my PC, I switched back to Twitch because that's where I liked being. And then Twitch had like a lot of like DMCA stuff. Like Amazon bought them, and it started getting like really corporate. So I went
Yeah,
back to
like-
Mixer.
On like
And I was like, Mixer is very gamers first. So I was totally into it. And then, like, boom, just shut down. I was like, whoa,
well,
I don't know where to
after
go.
like I think I had like consistently like 3 viewers. They could have been bots. They could I don't even know. But I streamed one. I think I streamed Black Ops 4 one day, and this was after they acquired Ninja and Shroud.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like every single other game was just wiped. Everyone was watching Ninja and Shroud. Like no one wanted to watch
Really?
the smaller streamers no more.
Yeah. Like it. Oh man, I liked Mixer. I did. I liked the direction they were going too. They were doing a bunch of cool stuff.
I just like the UI and everything else.
The UI was nice. Like the streaming experience and the user experience, both sides of it was really nice. And then it just disappeared. All right, is your username the same, Incisive, on everything?
So yeah, everything. I got lucky with that.
Nice.
I used to be called Bauer, but I looked on Twitch one day and someone had Bauer and they were verified. So I'm like, the name I've had for like 10 years, I have to change it all of a sudden. So
Yeah,
I changed it to Incisive.
The only reason that I have a M at the end of mine is because just straight astronautical is taken on most stuff. And it's not one person that owns all of it. It's all just random.
Yeah. So it's
So-
basically just Incisive, but instead of a S, it's a Z.
Yeah. All right. You guys know where to find them. Thank you for getting back to me for one. Like I said, you're one of many people that got back and was able to schedule a day to record pretty quickly. So I'll try to get this up either this Sunday, if not sooner. I might try to go sooner just to kind of make up for the gap. I've come to realize that I think for now, like I'll try to get them up every other Sunday, but if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to stress over it. Like at the end of the day, as long as it goes up, it's not like this huge podcast yet. I can afford to miss sometimes, cut myself a break. I think as it grows and as there gets more eyes on it, people will be more likely to respond, and I'll be able to find more people. But again, thank
I know
you.
there's some other big Greenwall members that I'd actually like to see on
Yeah.
this.
Well, let them know. Let them know. Be like, hey, I just did this podcast. It's going to be super cool. Episode 3.
Dude, it's awesome. I enjoyed the whole thing. Thank you.
Yeah. No, and it's cool. Like one of the things too that I think like at the end of all this is like now if I ever do meet you in real life or like if you go to an event or something like and I see you, like I have a lot of insight to your story now.
Yep.
And like I'm gonna know who you are, and anyone listening will know who you are. Or if Hex ever sees this, he'll know your story. Like he'll know that you started out as a Huntsman fan. Like if he ever meets you, like that's gonna be awesome. Not many. I mean, yeah, they got a lot of new fans, but I feel like a lot of them were just OpTic fans that switched over.
Yeah, like a lot of the people who are fans know, like I said, they just jump on bandwagons. Whoever's winning.
I think a lot of OpTic fans too started around Black Ops 3. Like I said, like they came in right before things kind of went downhill.
Yeah.
Like towards the end of 1235 or Scuff House, whatever. Thank you again for being on. I'm going to hit him with the outro music.
No
All you guys
problem,
listening, be sure to follow him over on TikTok at Incizive, INCIZIVE. One more time, that is INCIZIVE. You can use the same information to find him over on YouTube and Twitch. And if you're looking to find him on Instagram, you can just add an extra E to the end, making it Incizive, INCIZIVEE. Enjoy the rest of your day. We're out. Peace.